You're watching World Today. Some breaking news coming in at the top of this bulletin. A rogue state, Pakistan's real face has been exposed. Safety of civilians not a concern for Pakistan. Sources have confirmed to India Today that Turbulence hit plane that was bound to Srinagar sought help from Pakistan, but Pakistan rejected the request to use its airspace, risking the lives of 227 Indians. Those were visuals that we had put out, news that was breaking this afternoon and morning of the Indigo Flight, absolutely damaged cockpit that made a hard landing after it was rejected airspace into Pakistan because it hit a very bad turbulence. Look at the visuals there and look at the damage to the cockpit of that Indigo Flight. Should things not have turned out the way they turned out, where all the 227 passengers were safe, Pakistan had a lot of answering to do. Karishma Asudani, our reporter from Business Today TV, joins me for more on this. Karishma, very, very disturbing news and information coming in that Pakistan indeed rejected the request made by Indigo Flight to really turn into Pakistani airspace to avoid air turbulence.
Well, this incident of Flight 62142 encountering severe turbulence yesterday is actually being probed by DGCA, who is the Director General of Civil Aviation, and sources have confirmed us that the pilot who was operating this flight while encountering the sudden hailstorm initially sought Lahore Air Traffic Control's permission to briefly use the Pakistan airspace in order to avoid the turbulence and have safe passage of more than 200 passengers that it was carrying. But sources have confirmed that this request was rejected by Lahore Air Traffic Control, is why the flight, which was carrying more than 220 people, did encounter a sudden hailstorm, and the pilot had to report emergencies to air traffic control at Srinagar Airport. DGCA is currently studying this matter. Indigo has refrained from commenting anything on this, but likely this is going to go for further investigation by the regulator, and also questions the international aviation law if during grave emergency like this, can air traffic control, despite a notam being issued, can not temporarily take it back for the safety of passengers, for the lives of people.
Well, absolutely, Karishma. The International Civil Aviation Authority will also have to come in and look into the matter, but it is of grave concern that not only Pakistan uses its civilian aircrafts, international civilian aircrafts during conflict between India and Pakistan, it refuses a civilian aircraft to use its airspace in order to keep the 227 passengers safe. Thank you so much for joining us here on India Today. Now, a chilling attack outside the Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. has left 2 Israeli embassy staff members dead. The suspect, Elias Rodriguez, has been arrested from the crime scene. Israel's president and the Prime Minister as well have condemned the shooting as an anti-Semitic act, vowing to stand strong against terror. As friends and family mourn the tragic death of a young couple preparing to get engaged, U.S. federal investigators reached home of the suspect to investigate the case. Meanwhile, President Trump also reacted to this very same incident, calling it a terrorist act.
2 young Israeli embassy staffers were gunned down outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. late Wednesday night. The gunman, 30-year-old Elias Rodriguez of Chicago, opened fire at close range as the victims were exiting the American Jewish Committee's Young Diplomats reception.
The suspect identified where he discarded the weapon, and that weapon has been recovered, and he implied that he committed the offense. The suspect chanted, "Free, free Palestine," while in custody. The suspect has been tentatively identified as 30-year-old Elias Rodriguez of Chicago, Illinois.
Free, free Palestine!
Rodriguez, now in police custody, was filming, chanting Free Palestine moments after the shooting. A disturbing scene that has sparked condemnation from around the world, particularly from Israeli leaders. Israeli President Isaac Herzog denounced the attack in a strongly worded statement, assuring that anti-Semitic terror and hatred will not weaken Israel's bond with the United States.
On the way in, Ms. Bondi was kind enough to hand me the phone. On the other line was the President of the United States, Donald Trump, who told me that his administration is going to do everything it can possibly do to fight and end anti-Semitism.
Ambassador later turned emotional as he revealed that one of the victims had planned to propose just the next week.
The young man purchased a ring this week with the intention of proposing to his girlfriend next week in Jerusalem. They were a beautiful couple who came to enjoy an evening in Washington's Cultural Center.
US President Donald Trump described the killing as anti-Semitism and called for an end to hatred and radicalism in America. Indian Minister of External Affairs S. Jaishankar has also voiced his condemnation, demanding the perpetrators be brought to justice. FBI Director Kash Patel has been briefed, with federal authorities continuing to investigate the motive and circumstances of the attack. The tragedy has left Jewish communities around the world feeling shaken and vulnerable. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered enhanced security at Israeli embassies globally.
Here in the national capital where I'm standing, right next to the Israel embassy, the security is on the toes like always. Either it be the internal security of the embassy of Israel in India, in national capital, or of the other agencies and Delhi police. Because of this particular instance, the security is on high alert out here, and every movement of the passerbys are also being tracked right now.
This tragic event underscores the need for vigilance in the face of threats of anti-Semitic violence. With Amit Bharadwaj, Bureau Report, India Today.
Nearly 19 months have passed since the onset of the Israel-Gaza conflict in October 2023, resulting in a severe humanitarian crisis in Gaza. With Israeli forces increasing their military offensive in the region and the ongoing blockade, the situation in Gaza has turned catastrophic, with widespread starvation, acute malnutrition, and a near-total collapse of essential services. On the 19th of May, after a blockade of nearly 11 weeks, Israeli authorities temporarily allowed the delivery of limited aid into Gaza amid a surge in military operations. The UN described the entry of few trucks as merely a drop in the ocean, stressing the urgency of increased aid into the region to address the scale of the crisis. The UN claims it has almost 8,900 trucks ready to supply aid if Israel allows it. Famine poses a critical threat to the entire population of Gaza, which is approximately 2.1 million in number. Alarmingly, about 470,000 or 22% of them are in catastrophe category facing starvation. Over 1 million people are, or 54%, are in emergency stage. The food crisis is worse in North Gaza. 25% population of Rafah is in severe emergency, while 60% are in critical crisis. The whole of Khan Yunis population is in danger zone, with 25% at risk, 55% in critical crisis, and the rest 20% in severe emergency. The story is very similar in Deir al-Balah, with 30% at risk, 55% in critical crisis, and 15% in severe emergency. So is Gaza City. 50% of its population is in critical crisis, and the rest 50% is equally divided between in risk of starvation or severe emergency. The number of population in critical crisis goes up to 60% in North Gaza, while 30% is in severe emergency, and the rest 10% is in stressed risk zone. Now, earlier I spoke with the ambassador of Palestine to India, Ambassador Abdullah Muhammad Abu Shawish. He spoke about the situation in Gaza. He's a refugee from Gaza. His family is there. And the issue of starvation that's widespread in Gaza and what the reports across the world are now saying. So tell us, what's the situation on the ground? How is the Palestinian administration battling this one out?
Thank you so much indeed for having me today. Allow me at the very beginning to start by, again, paying the attributed and the necessary condolence to all the Indian people whom lost part of their loved ones, sons during the last month, 1 month ago, nearly 1 month ago. Those people whom we, as a human being, we lost them, not only their families, we as a human being, we lost them. They should not be died, they should not be killed for nothing, but again, because some radicals, some people whom intended, likewise, how did we facing as a Palestinian people, want to kill the people based on their religion or their ethnicity. The same exact issue that we are facing as a Palestinian and long time ago, so that we feel that we might be the only ones worldwide to feel this pain. The man who threw the ash of his son in the river is directly entrenched. This video, this issue that I saw it personally is directly entrenched in my heart. And I know that this man, unfortunately, this pain will not leave him forever. We know that, we exercise that, so that this is very important to start with. Second, to say that I'm representing Ramallah. No, I'm representing the Palestinian people. 60% of the Palestinians living in the diaspora, due to the Nakba that we was endured 77 years ago, because of the establishment of a state of Israel in our homeland. My family, my late father was born in our original village, Berga, and he expelled, he ethnically cleansed from Berga. Likewise, 950,000 Palestinians whom expelled and became a refugee.
Not many people know that Gaza houses about 953 refugees, those who had to leave their hometowns once they were expelled, or like the ambassador said, ethnically cleansed out of their own homeland and had to go find refuge, seek refuge in Gaza. So Gaza not only holds or houses Gazans, but also 950,000 refugees, Palestinian refugees from other parts of Israel that are now under Israeli occupation.
No, Gaza is hosting more than
900.
75% of Gazan people now is a refugee. The vast majority.
And your entire family is there.
My entire family, my Abu Shawish,
living in shanties and tents.
The vast majority of them, yes.
Their homes are your home, your father's house.
My father's homes. Where did I grow? Where did I born? Was completely destroyed. Even with it, while it is empty, and my father was passed away a long time ago.
Ambassador, there are two very important issues over here. One is the issue of hunger and starvation that you're seeing a lot of kids now are on the brink of.
My family, not kid, my family is going starving every night. They did not, and I can assure you, I can show you some of these messages. They used to eat half a meal each day. It's not only the children, everyone in Gaza is going starving. We lost many children right now because we did not have anything to feed them. Starvation is there. Starvation is a fact. Since 72 days, Israel did not allow any gram of wheat to enter Gaza. Just yesterday, they allowed 90 trucks to enter, and the day before, 10 trucks. While the United States, the United Nations, emphasizing that we are in a very urgent need to 600 trucks per day. They allow only, per day, 600 trucks. They allow only 95 trucks yesterday and 10 trucks 2 days ago.
Starvation is there. Starvation is fact. And unfortunately, we did not have even the ability to show the pictures, the videos for the people whom is starving. I'm talking about my family. I'm not telling you something imaginary issue. My family, my Abu Shawish family is starving.
One of India's 7 high-level all-party parliamentary delegations have met top Japanese leaders in Tokyo on Thursday as part of global outreach campaign post-Operation Sindoor. The delegation led by Sanjay Kumar Jha included BJP MPs Aparajita Sarangi and Brijlal, Trinamool Congress MP Abhishek Banerjee, CPIM Rajya Sabha member John Brittas and senior Congress leader Salman Khurshid. Japan had expressed solidarity with India's concerns and condemned the recent Pahalgam terror attack, stressing that the perpetrators must be brought to justice. Japan voiced strong support for India's response. The delegation also met with former Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga. While Sanjay Kumar Jha's delegation covers East and Southeast Asia, other groups led by MP Shrikant Shinde and DMK leader Kanimori are engaging with the Middle East or West Asia, Africa, and Europe. Now, earlier I spoke with Ananth Sharma, senior Congress leader, who is also a part of one of the delegations. There are many visiting 33 countries between 21st May and the 5th of June. Congress leader and Ananth Sharma is part of a group with a consensus candidate from the Congress. BJP is also other parties accepting of him. He's been designated to visit Egypt, Qatar, Ethiopia and South Africa. Listen into what he had to say on how he's going to expose Pakistan, a man who was part of the Ministry of External Affairs when 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks took place. This is quite interesting that we've had so many to and fro's when it comes to who's going to go from which party, but you came out as a consensus candidate. One, the decision to be a part of a multi-party delegation, and what is it that you aim to achieve?
You see, the decision is, of course, that of the government in finality, but it was the Congress leadership, both Rahul Gandhi and Congress President Kharge, who had given the names, as has been the standard established practice and norm. And I thank them. I thank also the government. Happy that there is a meeting of minds. We are not going to be, in today's situation, distracted even for a moment where we are going, and it is for what purpose we are going. That is important. Therefore, the composition of the delegations, when you said that all party, there have been initiatives in the past, but not on such a large scale. The leaders of the opposition have been roped in by the government in the past, by successive prime ministers, from Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, Narasimha Rao, even Dr. Manmohan Singh. There were occasions. What India needs in this present crisis is a robust, bipartisan consensus, which was demonstrated very strongly when India was targeted, the Pahalgam terror attack, and India's response. Because India has been, for decades, a targeted victim of organized terrorism from across the border. That's from Pakistan, which undoubtedly is the epicenter. It's not only that it is India which is threatened, yes, directly so, but they are a scourge for the world, the terrorism as such. Whether it's what happens to us, if you look at the list of terror attacks, India has acted, always responded with firmness and maturity. And it is time that the world is sensitized how serious the threat is. For long, our resolution is pending in the United Nations for a comprehensive global convention against terrorism. Perhaps the time has come. The world has to think. There cannot be any selective approach in fighting terror.
Perhaps the time has indeed come to even define terrorism where the world is divided. But for our audience to know that you were part of a government that battled Pakistan during 26/11 as Information and Broadcasting Minister, as Minister of State for External Affairs. It was an uphill task then, it is an uphill task now. Why?
Well, the two situations are different. That terror attack went on for a while, and citizens of other countries of the world were killed. Therefore, the media, the televisions of the world took it to the world capitals. Naturally, there was an outrage in our country, but a global outrage too. Here, they chose Pahalgam. This was a different attack because for the first time before the world, for us it was not the first time because Chitty Singh Pura had happened when the Sikhs were massacred.
That's true.
So here they singled out Indian citizens, innocent people who were holidaying there, young couples, but based on religion and killed in cold blood. And that the world must know. India has still been restrained, I will say, in its response. The initial response was only targeted to destroy the headquarters of the two terror outfits. They keep on changing names. Today they may say there is a resistance front, but we know who's behind all these three. They are sheltered, nurtured, protected by Pakistan. There is a clear signature and footprint. That's what made India act militarily too. But we never went for escalation. We want to tell the world India stands for peace. But India cannot also remain quiet when such attacks take place. What I would say is important. In democracies across the world, there are opinions which political parties and leaders have. Like in India too. But at the same time, when a nation is attacked, India has always stood as one and spoken in one voice, which we did this time too. Every political party gave unequivocal support to the government's action. Total solidarity with the Indian Armed Forces.
That's all on this edition of World Today. Stay tuned to India Today for all the latest news and updates. Goodbye and take care.